What's up fam, and welcome to the Autoless Success Academy. In this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to make an app in 15 minutes with zero coding required. I know, I've said this before and people think, oh yeah, that's easy for you to say, you've got 30 years worth of coding experience. I'm sure you can make an app with AI, but that doesn't mean I can. Well, I'm here to show you how to do it. And as an example, I'm going to show you a couple of different apps that I've already made. I've got this one right here that it's a blind draw calculator. I used to take the golf folks, hours to calculate this out, and now we can calculate it in a couple minutes, right? I've got a golf website for a memorial tournament. Not only is it a brochure website with all the sponsors and all the good stuff from a website, but it's got a great back end where everybody can pay and you can split payments amongst teams and you can send reminder emails and all kinds of great stuff. I've got this homeschool planner that I made for my wife that tracks all the progress of our 5 kids that we're homeschooling. And last but not least, I've got this great Mac OS app. All those other 3 were in the browser. As you can see, these are all just websites. But I've got a Mac OS app with a companion iPhone app and Apple Watch and a nightstand widgets that I made that is my Life Central. I got my task list and I've got my gratitudes and a dashboard of all my pictures through the years. From this day, I've downloaded all of my Facebook information, and so it shows me on this day in 2008, I was in India. Well, I wouldn't have had that information sitting around so accessible, but I built this app for myself. So I'm serious. If you can copy and paste, you can do this. All that said, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're going to start off here. I've got a completely clean install of Mac OS, and I'm going to hit Command Spacebar, and I'm going to type in terminal, and then I'm going to hit enter, and that's going to open up my terminal. So here I'll use Command plus to increase the size, and maybe we can see a little better. And then I'm just going to start copying and pasting these commands in. So the first one I'm going to copy and paste is Homebrew. Copy, paste, enter. It's going to ask you for your admin password. You're going to hit enter a couple times, and that's going to install Homebrew. What Homebrew is it's an package manager, and it installs and manages all of the different applications that you're going to be installing here. This takes a couple seconds, but pretty quick. It's done. And then we'll go on to the next one. We're going to install Visual Studio Code, copy, paste, and that installs. Then we will install Node and Git. All good. Then we will install Claude Code. Just copying and pasting. If you can copy and paste, you can make an app in 15 minutes. Gives us a note here that we need to run this command in order for it to run everywhere. And so we'll run that command. Next up is CC status line. What this is it's a utility for Claude Code that will show you exactly how much money you've spent per session, and so you can keep track of it. Next up, we're going to configure the CC status line plugin, and we'll download the script, which will download a zip file into our downloads folder. We can then double click that and unzip it, then just simply leave that there, and then come and copy this command and paste that into your terminal. There we go. Now, when we run Claude, our CC status line is now set up. What it shows you is what model we're using, what functioning it's at, how much context we used. We want to keep this below like 70%, otherwise the AI is going to start hallucinating. How much this session has cost, how much how many tokens we've used, and how long our session is. So keep an eye on this. You're going to spend some money, but you want to at least know how much you're spending. Keep an eye on it. And if you are planning on making a iOS app or a Mac app or an iPad app, then you're definitely going to need to install Xcode. For this demo, we're not going to be using Xcode, but make sure to copy this and paste this in if you are planning to do an iOS app. And then last but not least, we're going to launch Claude. Now it should launch. And here we go. We are now in Claude. It asks us for some settings. Do we want to do dark mode or light mode? And of course, we're going to do dark mode and hit enter. And then it will ask us, hey, what account do you need? Or what account do you have? And you can jump in and say, hey, I've got a Claude account, and it will ask you to log in. And then you will log in. It should send you an email verification. You can say authorize, and then you are all linked up. You can close this window, and here we go. We are in Claude. Login successful, press enter to continue, and you press enter. Press enter to continue again, use recommended settings. Yes, I trust this folder for downloads. And now here we are. We are in Claude Code, and the CLI has been configured. This is awesome. Okay, so the first thing we should do is we want to download this skill. So I'm going to download the MVP skill, and it's an MVP MD skill. And you can just click and drag that straight over to the Claude terminal. And then you can say, copy this and say, install this skill globally and verify it's working, and hit enter. It says, do you want to confirm? Yes, I want to proceed. It's going to ask you a million times here. And so what you can do is you can hit Command Shift, and that will switch you into accept edits. And now it's not going to ask you every time, hey, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? And it will just kind of start running through. It says installation, correct content, how to use it, type MVP, it will activate, skill won't appear until we quit. Okay, so now that we've got the MVP skill installed, what we're going to do is we're going to hit Control-C twice, and that's going to quit Claude Code. We're going to type clear to clear out the terminal. Then we're going to do something new. Rather than type Claude, we're going to type dangerously skip permissions. And what this is going to do is this is going to make it so we don't have to keep giving Claude permission to do everything every single time, and it's just going to make the agent work much more independently, and it doesn't, if all we're ever saying is yes anyways and we're not really looking at it, it doesn't matter. I run Claude this way all the time, and it's very efficient, and so this is what I do. So I'm going to hit enter, and yes, I trust this folder, and then we're going to see that currently we're on the model Sonnet, and we're bypassing permissions, and we can hit Shift Tab to change that to auto for agents, accepts, plan, or bypass permissions. And to switch the model, we can say /model, and we can see that we've got the default, which is currently, and we're on Sonnet, and that's one of the more basic models. We can use Sonnet with a really big context window, which means it's got a huge long-term memory. We can use Opus, which is a much stronger model, a much smarter model, and a much more expensive model. I think that the best route is going to be to do both. I think we should run it with Sonnet, and then I think we should run it with Opus and see what the difference is, and we'll see how much it costs. So we'll start with Sonnet. We'll just go default, and then we'll run our MVP skill. MVP. And now it's running. We've got bypass permissions on. Everything's good. Okay, first question, most important question. You want a web app, an iPhone app, an iPad app, or a macOS app? I'm going for a web app today. What is the purpose of your app? It gives a bunch of options. And what we want to do is we want to type well, the first thing we want to do is we want to type /voice. And what this is going to do is this is going to enable speech to text. So I'm going to enable that, and it's going to say, hey, it wants access to your microphone. And so you say allow, and now we're good. Now you can hold the space bar to record and let go when you're done. The more information you can give Claude, the better. Even if you're rambling, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you can completely flush out your idea so that it gets a real sense of what you're wanting, that's going to be the most beneficial. Now that voice is enabled, I can hold my space bar, and once the colorful box starts popping up, you can see that it starts recording my voice. And then I can go back and hit escape to clear that out, and I can put a new one in. Okay, so I'm going to say I want option E, and then I'm going to use the voice command and push my spacebar and just start talking. I want to create a web app that is for my wife to store all of her recipes in. The recipes should be able to be added by her or by simply copy and pasting in an URL and then having it scrape the URL and import all of the content into it. So simple at the baseline piece. And I'm going to hit enter. Now, the rest of the questions that get asked are going to be based off of my answer to question number 2. They're going to dynamically change. It's going to say, oh, you want, here, let's just take a look. Question number 3, beyond storing recipes and importing them via URL, what else should the app be able to do? Just store and view recipes, organize recipes into categories or tags, breakfast, dinners, search and filter, organize by category, all of the above, plus a meal planner or shopping list feature. No, we don't need the meal planner. Let's go with C. Each one of these I've set up to get from simplest to more complicated. Where should the recipes be stored? Accessible from any browser, accessible from any device, accessible from any device. Yeah, let's go D, because family members should be able to add and edit recipes too. Awesome. And so you can see from a very basic prompt, I'm getting more and more complicated solutions here that the AI is suggesting. Since multiple family members will be adding and editing recipes, how should access be handled? No login needed, one shared password, each family member has their own account. Let's go with C. Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. She'll be able to share this with her friends and some of my sisters. It'll be nice. When your wife wants to cook a recipe she saved, what's the most important thing she should be able to do quickly? Browse all the recipes, search, browse by category, all of the above. She needs flexibility. That's question number 6. Question number 7, visual style. We're going to say playful and fun just to see what it comes up with. Every time I run this, I'm always never picking playful and fun, so we'll try it this time. Device usage. On any device, which device do you accept them to use most often? Laptop, phone, mix of phone, tablet. B, mostly phone. My wife's always on her phone. She's not using a desktop often, and so that's really important that it becomes responsive for the mobile device. Are there any specific constraints? No constraints. It needs to be free. It needs to launch quickly. It needs a specific name. No constraints. Question 10, when a recipe is saved, what information should it capture? Basics plus a photo, all of the above plus the ability to rate or favorite. I don't need to rate or favorite. Let's go with C. 10 questions so far. Depending on how much you give it in the initial prompt, it may ask up to 20 questions, but it appears to have what it needs here. Answers are correct. I'm just going to accept this. Generate specifications. Okay, so the product specification is something that a software developer would need. And so what's happening here is we're having the AI create all of the content and data and assets that it will need in order to build this. So the AI is creating a script so that it can follow it. Using the AI to build AI. Very, very advanced. Let's just do a quick check. We've got 17% context used here. Cost 38 cents, 5 minutes. It's showing it's over here building the PRD, which is a product requirements document. Now it's going through the architecture. Does it need a database? Does it need logins? Does it need passwords? What pages should we have? How should they be organized? What folders should we use? What's it going to look like? It's doing the UX UI right now and saying, hey, here's how I'm going to lay it out. This is the color palette. These are all the colors we're going to use. These are the fonts we're going to use. What tokens are we going to use? Feature priority. Here's the list of order. What's most important? What's least important? Here's the plan. Here's the platform plan. Here's how I'm going to develop it locally. On approval requirements, tech stack, Supabase client. Supabase is an online database, so whenever you say that you want multiple people to be able to access it versus no, I just want it on my own computer, that's what's going to happen. And here we are. I'm just going to accept A and hit enter. Are you ready to build? A, again, yes. And now it's building. Building start, scaffolding the family recipe box web app now. We're at 57 cents. We're 7 minutes into this session. And let's see what happens. So the MVP skill just finished running, and you can see that it ran for 5 minutes and 4 seconds, and the total cost was $1.49. Our whole session has been 12 minutes, but it was only working for 5 minutes here. So you can see it has created a setup guide, and we can see that the build was complete. It stored everything here in the recipe box folder, shows you what was built, and then now it shows you, hey, in order for this project to really work, we've got to set up a free account at Supabase, which is an online database. And so we can, step one, create a project in Supabase. So we go to supabase.com, and I already have an account, so I'm just going to sign in. You can sign up for a free account, and you can have up to 2 projects in your account for free. I am making a new project here. I'm going to call it recipe box, and that's it. I guess we can type in a strong password here. Create new project. All right, now we've got our recipe box project here, and we can go to the API keys and get an anonymous key. Say, here's the anon key. Then it says we need to run the script that's in Supabase migrations. So if we go to our Finder, recipe box, Supabase migrations, open with VS Code, and there we go. We select it all, we copy, and then we go to Supabase, and inside of the recipe box we go to the SQL editor, we paste in all these SQLs, and we hit run, and it runs. Success, no rows returned. And then once that's done, we can keep going. Done. we need to log into the Supabase CLI. So I'll paste that into a new terminal window. Gives us the exact address to go to. And we generate a new token, and then we call it CLI like they tell us. And I say the token will never expire. And we can generate token, copy it, and give it token. Everything is live. We can open it on our local host. And look at that, recipe box. We've got a app. I don't have a login. New to the family, create an account. We can create an account. I'm going to put my email in and get a password. Save that, create account, and we're in. We've got to go to our email and check our email. And an email has been sent, confirm email address, and we're in. Look at this, we've got a recipe box. This is great. No recipes yet. We can add a recipe. We want to import a recipe from a URL. Let's try Sally's baking addiction. Go back, import, and bam, look at that. All the stuff. We save the recipe, and it says failed to save. So we go back and we say, when I try to save a recipe I've imported, it says failed to save. And you tell AI, and you let AI go back and fix it. Okay, it says it's fixed it, and now I can go and try to click save again, and this time it saves. Look at that. So we can now go to recipe box, and we can see we've got a recipe in here, and it's got all the steps. Everything's in there. We can favorite it, we can edit it, we can delete it, we can do whatever we want. Now, if this isn't perfect, if this isn't exactly the way you want it, this is where you iterate over and over and over again. You go back to code and you say, hey, let's change this, let's change that, move this over here, move this over there. And you can then, step by step, start creating a really great app that's exactly what you're looking for. This whole app using Sonnet, it cost us $3.30 to make. That is incredible. From here, I've got another video that you can watch to show you how to deploy to Vercel, and everything will be accessible on the web now. I hope I made good on this promise. 15 minutes to the working first version MVP, minimum viable product of an app. I hope you take this and you make it whatever you can. Like, sky's the limit. You can make any app you want. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. God bless.